Good morning.
Welcome to On Pause with Replenish and the Wexner Center of Arts.
We have been in relationship with the WEX for a few years now and holding space for meditation, healthy conversation, and observation normally.
Yeah. And observation looks different now, right? We used to gather in the galleries on Wednesdays at noon, and we would hold space in the art space and surrounded by different bodies of work and use that body of work to draw inspiration into the practice.
So why choose to be on pause? In the midst of city life, where do you find peace? So this space on pause is just that, for you to drop in to yourself and to have observation of what's happening within, and also to collect the data of the environment you're meditating in as well.
And we find that art inspires that in different ways. Sometimes I think it's hard to conceptualize how meditation and art can blend together, but those practices are so complementary. And so we'll be drawn today from the work of Sonia Khan. And we were able to see their work when we were still practicing in the galleries, which is really beautiful. And we can visit the website to get more information about that body of work. We're holding space for about 30 minutes here, but you can stay for however long you have to offer. The beauty of On Pause is that it's created for you to drop in and out of the practice. So whether you have 30 minutes to give, 10 minutes, or 5, all of it counts.
Yeah, we consider this a safe space because it's really important for us to honor ourselves in any given situation. So whether you're at home or at work, you can create your own safe space for yourself. So Sonia Khan.
Yes.
Yeah, so no go backs. This piece is a video, and for me when I watched it, it was a duality between city life and the age of information and technology, and then versus nature, and the dualities between the two. What did you gather from it?
You know, there was so much about relationship in it. It follows kind of the story of 2 young boys, young men, and then you also see other young people involved in the story. And you see the development of relationship when their world has been changed really drastically. And you don't know why. You know, that's one of the things that I love about it as well, is that there's no why to
There's
what
no
is
words
happening.
even. It's just this duality.
Right. And you just see how they're creating this deeper level of connection and relationship with one another and with self, right, in nature, when there's this disconnect from what life used to be. And you see these glimpses of what life used to be as well, kind of these flashbacks that happen. And I've noticed that even in my own body, that I have memory of like, oh, I remember when we used to be at the Wexner Center in the galleries, and we would be really close to one another. Or I remember, you know, going to baseball games or going to the movie theater and things that just look different now. And how does it feel to both have that memory and honor it and even grieve it, but be able to create new levels of connection and relationship within what we have.
And that we can constantly depend on nature to nurture us. So we'd like to start with a question. And I was thinking of this in the car ride, and it's always a spontaneous question. So we want you to participate in this. So fill in the blank. I am naturally what?
Oh.
That might be hard. We've never done this.
I know. I am naturally drawn to nature.
I always create the question and have a hard time responding. Let me think about this. I am naturally an intuitive person. So let's drop in. Yeah. So let's find a comfortable seated position, or not seated, right? You could be on your headphones at work and just needing some meditative, a meditative space for yourself. So you don't have to close off your eyes. You can choose to have a soft focus, really relax in the space in between your brows. You can choose to sit, lie down, whatever feels comfortable to you right now in this given moment, wherever you are.
And if you're sharing space with other people right now, feel free to invite them into the practice with you, your children if they're at home with you, or partner, your pets in your house. You can invite anyone into the space with you that you choose.
And thank you again for joining us. So as you find a comfortable seated position, before we close off our eyes, just notice your environment. Notice what you see. And then slowly begin to choose a soft focus. So gently relaxing that space in between your brows before we close off our eyes. And when you're ready, you can close off your eyes. And just noticing the contrast between having your eyes open, having a soft focus, and then closing off your eyes. And beginning to feel the integration of breath. The rise and fall of your inhale and exhales naturally. Not trying too hard to inhale deeply or control your breath, just allowing, getting to know what's happening with your breath as is. Simple act of allowing, not forcing anything to happen. If you feel your eyes fluttering, allowing that to happen, and just notice. If you feel the force of thoughts and any other body parts forcing that energy of force, just noticing what that feels like in the body and continue with your breath. Notice if you're forcing anything, how there's a disregard to all the other parts and pieces to the self. And just allowing your breath to flow naturally. Beginning to soften. Softening your gaze, even with your eyes closed. Bringing your awareness to any tension in the body. Let's begin with noticing the crown of our heads, very top of our head. Beginning to soften, moving down to the space in between your brows. And hovering in this space here. Noticing if you see any flickering of light in your eyes. Any floaters. Just allowing your body to naturally evolve, move, flow. And if you're hearing sound in your space and environment, just allowing the sounds to be sound. Bring it into the practice. There's no line of demarcation here. Relaxing your facial muscles. Your jaw. Removing your tongue from the roof of your mouth. I am naturally. You may not have any words to finish the sentence. Just allowing that sentence to ponder as we move down the body. Relaxing your neck and your shoulders, drawing them down your back. Next, on our next inhale, bring our shoulders to ears. Inhale, lift your shoulders to ears. And then exhale, drop them down, relax down your back. Choosing to open your mouth on the exhale, relieving stress and tension in the body. Stuck energy that doesn't belong. Moving down the body to the heart. You feel tightness in the heart area. Maybe increase your inhale. And your exhale. Honoring the heart space today. Moving down to your belly. Softening the belly here. And then stay with your breath. This practice is not about perfection. It's about observation. It's not about turning off all sound. It's about embracing the sound and finding your peace, creating your solace. We're going to take 3 deep inhalations here. Inhale, fill up your lungs. And then exhale, release out the mouth, let go. And again, inhale, fill up your lungs. And then exhale, release, let go. Bringing your hands to heart center. And then slowly opening your eyes here. So we like to integrate conversation in between the two meditations. That was our grounding meditation. It's meant for us to sort of get out of our heads and really integrate our mind to body, body to heart.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that it doesn't have to look any way. You know, we had music that played unexpectedly.
Just came on. We kind of like things to just be, you know, and even on our end, we don't want anything to, you know, because it's not a perfect space.
Absolutely.
It's not meant to be perfect. I know there's a lot of propaganda around meditation, and for us, really,
it's about being able to drop in wherever you are. We say in our space frequently that if you can get to a mountaintop where no one else is available and have no sound whatsoever, it's just you and the mountaintop and the birds, and you meditate, that is beautiful. But what happens when you come back into your everyday life where there's work and responsibilities and family and, you know, a revolution that's happening right now, and challenge and sound and birds and helicopters and cars? You know, what happens when all of that exists?
How do we self-regulate, right? And so this is the space of meditation, this idea that we have all the tools within us to be able to self-regulate. And if nothing else, to notice that we need to take a longer break because we may be too stressed out for that day, and maybe our to-do list shortens and we can put that on to another day. So it's like, what is your capacity for the day? And we don't know unless we drop in.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I think came to my mind watching Sonia Khan's video was this idea of how we truly learn and who's our biggest teacher. And for me, the nature scenes were very powerful in watching the children navigate weather, navigate, you know, different natural components of the earth and not really knowing what it was. But then with all of that was like this connection that made the children connect deeper with each other and themselves.
I think nature has a way of doing that. And, you know, sometimes we think that nature is like being out in a forest. And it is, but it's also just being in your natural environment, you know, just being outside of your own space. And I think that nature, for me, there's this deep process of uncovering and unlearning and this really clear vision that comes of myself and of others when I'm in nature, because everything else is gone for that moment. You know, it's just me and what's available in that moment, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what's, you know, right in front of my face at that moment.
So I guess the old adage, stop and smell the flowers is a thing, right? It's like being grateful and seeing the little things in your environment that can inspire.
Yeah. So a question here to ponder, and one that came up for me in the meditation, is what new truth have you discovered? You know, life looked very different for many of us in the beginning of March versus the beginning of June. I know. Yeah. I almost forgot that it was June. I was gonna say July.
Who knows the time anymore?
I don't know. And it's also the middle of June, not the beginning. But life looks different, right? And for some people, that difference is subtle. For some, it's drastic. And so there has been loss and truth and gains, you know, things that have been uncovered. So what new truth have you discovered through this process of undoing that we have collectively experienced over the last few months?
Dropping deeper into the meditation before this, the question is right in alignment. I think for me, my new truth is that I can be well and be in challenge. And it's been a toggle, it's been a practice, and it's not a perfect, beautiful, everything, you know, looks great kind of thing. But I'm finding my gauge in the fact that I can make sure that I'm taking care of myself and still being aware that there's a challenge happening in my life or a transition that's causing challenge. So I think simultaneously you can do both.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about for you?
Of course, I asked the question and I don't have an answer.
That's okay too, right? If you don't have an
Yeah.
answer, it's these questions that we can ask powerfully, right?
Yeah.
And then allowing that to dwell in our bodies and our minds and hearts, and eventually maybe something will pop in.
I think, you know, what's true for me now is that I have a different relationship with predictability. I like a very predictable environment and like to have an idea of what's coming next and what to expect when I get to a certain place. And I still need that, you know, to in some elements to feel safe. But even like, you know, I'm like, we would start going a different direction in the car and I'm like, where are we going? What's happening? Yeah. But all of that changed and I realized that the predictability that I thought I had, I didn't have anyway, you know? And so what's true for me now is that while I do need a solid foundation to feel safe and to be able to grow from, I don't have to require the same level of grasp on the outcome of what's going to happen as I have before.
Yeah.
I know.
Predictability.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this, you know, in this first meditation is about this act of allowing, you know, really that word alone is such a small, like, it's like allowing. What does that mean? It's like really allowing life to be what it is around you and then you being aware within it. And what can you learn from any given situation, whether it's challenge or joy or sadness, you know, instead of forcing it away. And this force thing, I'm about this force thing, forcing things, this idea of force comes with a disregard and it changes that soft focus to hyper focus. And then we miss all the other components to ourselves. Yes. So let's go a little deeper here with this meditation. If you're still with us, if you just joined this meditation, welcome.
So we can find a comfortable space to be in for our second meditation. You can come back to the seat if you were seated before, or if you are able to lay down for a deeper experience, you can do that. Walking, sitting, however it is that you choose to be. And we're just going to take a few natural inhales and exhales here. So keeping the eyes open for a moment and just allowing yourself to breathe in and breathe out without any control. Using your gaze to take in your environment right now. So noticing all the things visually that are available in your space. Whether you're indoors or outdoors, taking in everything around you. And if it feels safe to close your eyes, you can bring them to a soft close. And taking in your environment now with closed eyes. Noticing what you see, even as the gaze is soft. So we're going to begin to deepen our breath here, drawing our hands to our belly. Allowing the palms to lay flat against the belly. Inhale in through your nose, sending your breath into the belly, expand it out toward your hands. And then exhale gently out the mouth. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Softening the shoulders as you take your breath in. Exhale out. And continuing this deep belly breath, beginning to calm the nervous system. Just offering a moment of restoration to the body. And as we sit with this breath, we'll come back to this question of what new truth have you uncovered? What is true for you now? And as we move from month to month and week to week, our world has been in a space of transformation. And whether we've tapped into self or not, we've also been in a space of transformation within self. What do you notice that is true for you now? And if nothing comes to you, just allow the question to be. What is true for you now? What have you uncovered? Slowly begin to draw your awareness to your sense of sound. Notice what you hear today in your space. And then we're going to bring our hands back to the belly. Taking 3 deep, complete inhales and exhales. Breathing in through the nose, filling up. Exhale out. And again, inhale. Exhale. One more deep inhalation, as much as you can today. Exhale out. And slowly release your hands down. Allow the eyes to flutter back open if they're closed. So a takeaway.
Takeaways.
A takeaway for today is to notice the next time you're outside, or if you can only look from a window. Notice the environment outdoors. I think that nature in all its many forms has this way of stripping us down and, exposing this process of unlearning things that we thought were true before, and perhaps inviting in a new truth, a new story.
And without judgment. So be a witness to yourself without judgment, a witness to your environment without judgment. And as you're witnessing your environment or yourself, notice the responses your body is giving you. So whether it feels fire in the belly because you feel irritated or agitated, a lot of times we jolt and react quicker than maybe we should, right? Really sitting in the body as you're observing nature in your environment and yourself. Be a witness. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. You can see us here on Pause on Wednesdays. Thank you to the Wexner Center for your support and partnership. Please visit the Wexner Center's website for more on the work that they are doing, the very important work that they are doing to draw art into this time of transformation and revolution and make it accessible for everyone.
Absolutely. And again, accessing this creativity even when we're spaced apart. And so that's the work they're in. And it's so beautiful to see the transformation happen. And we're grateful to be in holding space with all of you today. Enjoy your day. Thank you. And see you next week, 12 p.m.